Happy Father's Day. His Eminence Garchen Rinpoche often said, all male who has compassion, they are compassion Buddha, and all males who have, females who have compassion, they are Tara. In the way of Vajrayana, we need this perception. In the way of Mahayana, we need bodhichitta perception, which means all mother sentient beings are, all beings are our parents. Okay, so now we will continuously discuss. So the seventh Samaya says to disclose the secret teachings to sentient beings who have not fully matured is seventh. Actually, there are some particular sentient beings who are not allowed to listen to secret tantra teachings. There are, for example, people who have broken tantric samayas in a serious way because of a wrong view. Then after they have not confessed for a single moment, and they don't have even have the intention to confess. If we teach secret parts of tantra to them, it will not be of any benefit to them because they still will give rise to more wrong view. So that's why they are not permitted to receive secret tantric teachings. We are not allowed to teach them. If we do teach them, then we incur the seventh downfall. Usually, Vajrayana is secret, and whether it is secret or not depends on the practitioners. Practitioners who have heard Vajrayana method teachings, if you can arouse pure perception, and if you can arouse enthusiasm, then you will understand through your practice, and then the secret Vajrayana isn't secret for any of you. But when some people hear Vajrayana teachings, they feel uncomfortable. Uncomfortable means that a wrong view immediately arises. A wrong view or the wrong kind of doubt. One kind of doubt is thinking, what is this about? And you are willing to learn something. This doubt is fine. But another kind of doubt is to think that doesn't seem true. Maybe you haven't completely decided. but you already think it is probably not true. In the circumstance of hearing about a mandala and all of the Yidam deities uh, filling this universe and so on, and especially hearing about non-duality, if you are thinking maybe not, if you have that kind of a doubt, then that means it is kept very secret from you. That means you make it secret by yourself. The next one is the eighth Samaya. It says to abuse one's own aggregates, the embodiments of the five Buddhas is eight. Over five aggregates are the five family Buddhas. For instance, our consciousness is Akshobhya, and our feeling is Rana Sambhava, and aggregates of perception is Amitabha, and the aggregate of formation is Amongasidi, and our body is Verochana. Then our inner sense perceptions are the six bodhisattvas. For example, eyes are bodhisattva Namkhanyingbo. In Sanskrit, it says Kashyangarbha. Ears are Vajrapani. Nose is Earth Bodhisattva, Shitingarbha. Tongue is Avalokiteshvara. Body is Bodhisattva Dipanamsar, in Sanskrit Veshikambing. And then the mind is Manjushri. And then each and every chakra has Yidam deities, and every channel and node has Yidam deities. In brief, there are 42 peaceful Yidam deities and 60 Herukas, and all of them are in our body. On the crown chakra, in its 10 directions, there are different gardens, and then in the heart chakra, it also has outer, inner, and secret, and other in the 10 directions. Everywhere there are Yidam deities. That is how our body is full of Yidam deities. If we do not recognize this, we think this is an ordinary body, and if we have this perception, then we break Samaya. This body is really a mandala of Yidam deities. That's where Lord Jigten Sunggon said in the fivefold Mahamudra, if the strong hold of unchanging ground is not seized in one's own body, the king of the deities, the court of Mother Darkness, will not convene. So persevere in the Yidam of the body. The Yidam is the root of siddhis, and the Guru is root of blessings. They are the our way of practice, and they are the result of our practice. So This Samaya is very important. Uh, then next is the ninth Samaya. It says to doubt the pure nature of phenomena is the ninth. We said that our five aggregates are the five family Buddhas. The channels are mandalas of Yidam deities, and that the six sense, outer and inner, are the male and female bodhisattvas. We don't make them like this artificially. It is natural. Like the sun's rays have different colors naturally, or when the sun and the rain come together, the rainbow appears naturally. Especially our mind is the Dharmakaya, but some doubt that it is a Buddha mind and think it is just taught as a skillful means. But inherently, there is nothing like all of these qualities in it. Especially our ordinary mind is a non conceptual mind or non duality or Dharmakaya. And if someone doubts this, then this is the ninth downfall of Samaya. The reason we call it breaking Samaya is that whenever uh, you break Samaya, then you cannot make qualities arise from Buddha nature. You already have Buddha nature. The only thing you have to do is purify the temporary obscurations. But instead, if you create extra obscurations, then you break Samaya. That's why Lord Jigten Sungun said in the fivefold Mahamudra, uh, if the cloud masses of thoughts have not uh, subsided within the spacious sky of the nature of mind, planets and stars of twofold knowledge will not shine. So persevere in this non conceptual mind. Twofold knowledge is the Buddha's omniscience. We all have this knowledge, but we have to purify our obscurations. And if we keep pure Samaya, then it will help us to shine our twofold knowledge for the sake of Mother Singing beings. The next Samaya is the 10th. It says to maintain loving relations with the evil uh, terrors is regarded as 10th. It is very unlikely for us to commit this non-virtue because it would be difficult for us to have enough bodhichitta for those kinds of living beings who are suffering. When we hear about these serious uh, wrongs that they commit, then it's very hard for us to generate bodhicitta. This downfall is more related to higher practitioners, those who have more power. In any case, The enemies of the teachings destroy the Dharma and they criticize the three jewels. They rob monasteries' wealth. They criticize the Mahayana vehicle. They harm the Guru and they destroy others' practice and criticize Vajrayana. Never, not even for a moment, does bodhichitta or compassion arise in them, and they have a wrong view of cause and effect. So these kind of people are the object of wrathful practice, not peaceful practice. As I mentioned, to conquer them through wrathful practice is only for the higher practitioners. Uh, in the Vajrayana, it said, for instance, if you conquer someone through wrathful practice, then you need the ability to bring them to happiness afterwards. Uh, the example to show when you are ready to do this kind of a practice is when you recite some mantras and visualize some yidam, and that makes in apple fall of the apple tree onto the ground, and then you recite mantras and visualize again, and that will put that apple back from the ground to the branch of the tree. When you have that kind of power, then you will be ready to do wrathful practice. Don't misunderstand and think we are practicing our wrathful deities, so we are doing wrathful activities. It is not like that. Uh, that kind of activity is very, uh, how to say, restricted to very higher practitioners. Lower practitioners who try to do it may be able to harm someone. For instance, they could destroy someone's life, but then they would not be able to liberate them into pure light afterwards. If they cannot do that, then they are not ready to practice wrathful activities. But when you do have that power and a higher ability, if you see someone doing those kinds of evil actions, then you have to conquer them. Otherwise, if you don't do it, maybe because they are your best friend or your relative or close to you, so you just practice a little compassion and let them go, just leave them be. This breaks Samaya and is the 10th downfall. But if you are not a higher practitioner, you still try to practice wrathful activities like this, then it will possible it harms you in this life and next life rebirth in lower realms. Uh, Compassionately practice wrathful yadam deities is not wrathful mm, wrathful activities. Wrathful activities. Uh, so then the 11th Samaya, it says to conceptualize the phenomena that are without names and labels is 11th. Uh, this is regarding ordinary perception and concepts. We think, oh, This is right. This is wrong. This is a tree. This is a house. We have the perception that everything is solid. Uh, but everything we perceive is inherently emptiness. It doesn't truly exist. So we have to realize this, especially the practitioners of the Vajrayana. We have to realize emptiness, and it is best to have a pure perception. All this environment is the mandala, and all thinking beings are male and female yidam deities. Even our anger and other five afflictive emotions transform into wisdoms. For instance, we purify them. That means we transform anger into a mirror like wisdom. Pride transforms into equanimity wisdom. Attachment transforms into discriminating wisdom. Jealousy transforms into all accomplishing wisdom. And ignorance transforms into the Dharma Dhartu wisdom. If we can transform them into the wisdoms, and we can see everything with pure perceptions. But if we still fixate on our realizations and our experiences, then that is what this Samaya deals with. That's why we don't want to fixate on our realizations. Telopa gave this instruction to Naropa. Son, you will not be banned by appearances, but you will be banned by fixation. That's where you cut fixation. He said that. And in the Vajrayana way, sometimes we fixate over on our higher view and some special experiences. And at that time, we have to be careful. This is something very important. Uh, then, how to cut the fixation is in the Ganges Mahamudra, it says, when you relax in an unaltered natural state, the bonds are released and you are undoubtedly freed. Then the 12th Samaya, it says, to cause discouragement in those who have faith in 12th. This refers to those who are ripe for practice, especially the Vajrayana and who have enthusiasm to practice the Dharma, especially the Trantic vehicle. This means that if we don't like Vajrayana and someone else has enthusiasm and is especially ready to practice Vajrayana, then if we mislead them or discourage them from practice, then this is the 12th downfall. To mislead them means, for example, speaking deceptively or dishonestly. Uh, so then this is the 12th downfall. Then next is the 13th Samaya. It says, as for the Samayas, not attending to how they are acquired is the 13th. And the Vajrayana practice, there are many things related to the Samaya substances. For example, the Dharmaru, Bel, Kilaya, and Mandalas, all depending on different tantric practice. So if you are ready to use them, but you don't use them, this is also cause broken Samaya. And then sometimes during the third and fourth empowerment, at that time there is a practice to engage with the secret concert. So if you have reached that stage, if you don't engage at that time, then this is also the 13th downfall of Samaya. But there is a right time for everything. I mean, if you are ready to practice that, then you have to do that practice. But if you are not ready, then you shouldn't do it. This is a very, very important. Then next is the 14th Samaya. It says to disrespect women who are the nature of wisdom is the 14th downfall. Women are our mothers. They are the seed of our compassion, and inherently they are the wisdom of emptiness. In relative truth, they are the Nirmanakayas of Tantra, and they are the Sambhogakaya of Vajrayogini, and the Dharmakaya of Parjana Parimita, and other Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and Yidam deities. If you look down on them, then this is the 14th downfall. Especially if they are about to be a secret concert. If we look down on them because we cannot see their abilities, or the only reason we look down on them is because they are women, then this is the 14th downfall. If we do not break these 14 samayas, then all tantric vows are included in these 14 samayas. And if we break one of these 14, then that means we are breaking our tantric vows. For that reason, we have to be careful. Actually, some of the vows are very hard to keep purely, but what we can do is we can purify right after our mistakes. Actually, we often heard that non-virtue has no good quality, but it has a single good quality, which is we can purify them. So we are still in this samsara. So we have a dualistic perception. So it is very possible we may make some mistakes. Especially these samayas are pretty much hard to keep purely. So it's very possible we make some mistakes, but we have to purify them. So tantric practitioners have a special way to purify it. Lord Jigten Sunggun said, as well as the Buddha and other masters, said that if you break a tantric vow during the day, you should confess by night time. If you break a vow at night, then you should confess it during the next day. If you break it in the morning, then by afternoon confess it. If you break a 20th vow in the afternoon, confess it by evening. Even if you broken it about an hour ago, confess right away. So this is how we can keep tantric vows purely. Otherwise, it is quite hard to keep these vows clearly or purely. So we have to keep these 14 samayas purely, and then we can say we have pure Vajrayana Samaya. Uh, Conclusion of Samayas, and then the this last line says, when these are abandoned, the the mountains accomplishments will surely be attained. I reveal and relinquished, uh, degraded, and broken samayas of body, speech, and mind, and their fundamental and auxiliary aspects, and every downfall arising from thoughts, together with their mass of defilements. Please bestow your blessing that they be cleansed and made pure. Okay, so the Yidam deities are the root of siddhis, the Guru is the root of blessings, and then our relation with them is Samaya. The main Samaya is that all of these 14 Samayas should be combined with bodhichitta. If we have bodhichitta, then basically we have Samaya or Samaya. When we take vows and samayas, we should take them through bodhicitta. And when we practice with these samayas, we should practice with bodhicitta. And when we dedicate, we also do it through bodhicitta. When we make mistakes or do something to harm our samayas, we confess with bodhicitta. So if we combine everything with bodhicitta, everything is excellent. So His Eminence Ngarchen Rinpoche always says, "Oh, there are many tantric samayas." So if we tell this each and everything, it's very difficult to understand, and seems as difficult to keep it purely. But you can, the life force of Samaya is bodhicitta, so you keep it. He always gave these instructions. So this is a really wonderful instruction, especially to us. We are quite hard to understand vividly about each and every tantric samayas. Even if we understand each and every these samayas, it seems quite difficult to keep them. Also, maybe it's we think, oh, it's very difficult. I can't do this. I can't do that. That's it's possible to arise kind of this feeling. But what we can do is, perhaps this is like a vehicle. If we just look outwardly on the vehicle, there are four tires and lots of things. It seems is we cannot draw it. But if we sit inside of a car and what is called with uh, the what steer wheel, we carefully with this attentionally pay attentionally withdraw that, then we can reach very nice places, and we can reach in the shopping center, and we can buy lots of things, and we can save time and so on. Similarly, so if we keep pure perception, then all tantric samayas will be pure. So the principle is that, but of course we have to, if we learn something a little bit about this, uh, then then we know, we understand more, and then at least we take care of one of them, and then it has a great benefit. So Lord Jigten Sungkun said, if you have you did not take a vow, or you take a vow after broke, that which one is more benefit? Of course, you take one vow, at least one vow, even if you will break that, but it has a great benefit because this is a cause of enlightenment. But it does not mean if the reason you break that. It means you take that vow, then you have a benefit. So we all have Vajrayana vow since we have received empowerment. I think you know much better than me, but I try to remind you as much as possible. And then now I will go over the tantric vows. Uh, so the all vows are basically the same. We have to avoid negative activities, and we have to avoid accumulating uh, negative karma, and we have to gather positive karma and virtues through our body, speech, and mind. As Lord Jigten Sungkun said, uh, the lower vows are the foundation of the higher vows. This means all the vows are interrelated. For instance, in order to receive the individual liberation vow, you must have the refuge vow. Then for the tantric vow, we need to have the refuge vow as the foundation, as everybody knows. And then also we have to have the bodhichitta vow. This is the main requirement. And then when you take tantric vows, you make the commitment that you will keep these vows until you become enlightened. This determination or commitment must arise from your dharma wisdom. It is not a casual, the accidental decision, or due to the influence of others. Not like that. It must comes from your clear dharma wisdom. This is very important. We receive tantric vows during empowerment. Uh, Empowerment from the texts. Basically, we receive them during in empowerment from our guru. The easiest vows to receive are the tantric vows, especially recently, because we receive the gurus bestowing gurus are bestowing empowerments, but tantric vows are the hardest to keep because they have lots of samayas, millions of samayas. It is even hard to know what each and every samayas is. Uh, but all of these samayas are included in the 14 root downfalls. Uh, uh, so I explained these. But first, tantric vows come from the four classes of tantra. These are the Kriya Tantra, Tsaya Tantra, Yoga Tantra, and Anuttara Yoga Tantra. There are another six classifications like Father Tantra, Mother Tantra, and non-dual Tantra, and so on. And the tantras of the new and old traditions have lots of instructions. When it comes to taking empowerment in any of these classes of tantra, there are three levels of practitioners: those of higher, middling, and lower capacities. Practitioners of lower capacity need to have mandala, like a sand mandala or constructed mandala, and they need to be introduced to the aspects of the mandala. This is that, and that is this. Like the doors and windows and so on. Sometimes we see a constructed mandala that is established. Sometimes there is a sand mandala. First, Guru introduce the mandalas and then gives the empowerment. Students of medium capabilities can use a mandala painted on a canvas. They will understand from that. Students of higher capacities can understand with a body mandala. A body mandala is when they see the guru's body. The guru's body is actually the five family Buddhas and other Yidam deities, especially the deities of which empowerment is being conferred. If we know a little bit about this, it's important. That's why I'm mentioning it here briefly. A Kriya Tantra empowerment includes the garland of flowers, water, and crown empowerment. You will receive Kriya Tantra vows during the garland, water, and crown empowerment, and others. You receive the Tsarya Tantra, tantric vows, Vajra and Bel, and other empowerments. Then during the Yoga Tantra empowerments, you receive the vows through similar empowerments, including Vajra Master's empowerment. Anuttara vows are received from its empowerments. We call it the higher three empowerment. These are the secret empowerment, wisdom empowerment, and the union of wisdom and the method empowerment. Sometimes we call it the world empowerment. And then at that time we receive the vows of the Antara Yoga Tantra. In any case, when we receive empowerment, we often hear Sarvata Tangata Abhikhikade Samaya Shireye Hong. There are two parts to the meaning of this. First is what we call scattering. What we are scattering or overthrowing are over afflictive emotions. They have a gathering together and become like ice. That's where we have to scatter them. The second meaning is pouring. What are we pouring? The nectar of primordial wisdom. This is what the words mean. This phrase is in relation to the wise empowerment. The wise empowerment purifies the channels and the body actually. When we receive this empowerment, it purifies the ordinary channels of our body and plants the seed of the Nirmanakaya. After the wise empowerment, there is the secret empowerment. What is meant by secret is that it is secret from those of lower capacities. Because if they see it, realization will not arise for them. Instead, they will have a wrong view and confusion. How we receive the secret empowerment is through the Vajra and Banga. Banga actually means conqueror. So we are conquering the negative channels, negative winds, negative thoughts, and so on. Basically, this empowerment is received from the union of the Yidam deities. We receive their bodhichitta and it purifies the negative imprint of speech, plants the seed of the Sambhogakaya. So, as yesterday Rinpoche gave us instructions, what is the Sambhogakaya? That means, so here a very important thing to understand. What is the relationship over speech and Sambhogakaya? This relationship is, if we follow Sambhogakaya and we practice this yidam, that means we recite mantra. That means we purify this ordinary speech. From our side, we have to think all the sounds are mantra. But these mantras are also not solid. These mantras are also like what is called echo. So if we can perceive or we can think like that, it has great benefit in our daily life. For example, here if I use some harsh word, definitely it harms to your mind. That means, of course, from my side, I use harsh word. That is my mistake. But the main mistake comes from your mind. Because if you can perceive that sound, harsh words, if you can transform these harsh words into mantra, then this harsh word is just like an echo. It cannot harm to you. And then if you can think, these all the body action of a body, speech, and mind, they all comes from emptiness. Like waves comes from ocean, but they dissolve into ocean. Similarly, everything appears from emptiness, but they all dissolve into emptiness. If you can do that, then you are physically in samsara, but you are not suffering. Samsaric things cannot make you suffer. So how powerful our way of thinking. So the uh, when people say some kind of harsh words and or some uh, what is called is negative speech, when you heard directly, or you don't follow that, don't think that is real. So the best thing is, there are many ways to avoid this problem, from these problems. Number one, you give compassion. Oh, it's possible they are still in beings of samsara, so they have thoughts, so they create lots of things. It's very possible, but still I'm really compassionate because they have been my mother, they have been my father, or they are my dharma brothers, sisters, especially in the tantric way, they are vajra brothers and sisters, and you give compassion. If you cannot miss it. And then second step is I already told you that. So we all have to try. Sometimes we are, how to say, successful. Sometimes we are not, but not give up. We keeps going continuously. So we have Buddha nature in our mind. So we have a Buddha nature. Buddha nature is bliss, emptiness, clarity, luminosity. So we have confidence. These temporary problems, temporary things are very temporary. If we shine the primordial wisdom, then these temporary perceptions are like ice. It will melt into the ocean of our wisdom. So then the third is what we call the wisdom empowerment. This is relative bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. There are two. Relative bodhicitta aspects of this empowerment is the four joys. Through engaging and disengaging, we give rise to the four joys. The ultimate bodhicitta aspect of this empowerment is realizing primordial wisdom, or the wisdom of great bliss. The fourth empowerment is called the word empowerment. The meaning of this empowerment is introduced through words. That is why we call it the word empowerment. In the Sutara vehicle, it is called Sungata Garbha, or Buddha nature. In the new tradition, we call it the nature of mind. In the old tradition, it says it is called Rigpa Rangjong Yishi, or intrinsic awareness. There are different names but same meaning. So I mentioned that the empowerment has two meanings. First is to scatter. What is scattered? What is scattered by empowerment is the imprint of the six consciousness. When we wake up, these six consciousness automatically follow the sense objects. Then attachment and aversion arise. That's where we scatter them. Actually, the vice empowerment has 7 individual empowerments. They are called the 7 empowerment of entering like a child. They are the water empowerment, the crown empowerment, the ribbon empowerment, the vajra and the bell empowerment. The vajra of practice empowerment, the name of the name empowerment, and so on. And then sometimes there are 37 different empowerment during the vast empowerment. Then during the secret empowerment over ordinary winds and ordinary mind are purified. Because of our ordinary wind and mind, we have many delusions in our dreams. So they can be purified this way. Scattered by the secret empowerment, then the wisdom empowerment scatters the deep sleep state. In deep sleep, we don't have ordinary wind and mind. It is almost like unconsciousness. So this is ignorance. So the wisdom empowerment purifies ignorance. Because at that time, bliss and wisdom arise in our channels. Then the word empowerment purifies the perception of the gross feeling of union. The ordinary feelings that occur during union, the fourth empowerment scatters these feelings so that the realization that bliss is also emptiness can arise. This fourth empowerment purifies obscuration and establishes or plants the seed of the fourth kaya, which is a innate kaya. And then the other three empowerments establish or plants the seed, each of three kayas. In brief, ordinary appearances, subject and object are emptiness. Bliss and especially the nature of compassion. So when you have these empowerments, then you receive 20 vows. After we receive from 20 vows, from empowerments, we have to keep the 20 vows like they are our eyes. In order to keep them, we have to know what they are. As I mentioned earlier, there are millions of 20 vows, but they are all included in the 14 root 20 vows. So there is the confession of the 1420 root downfalls, and through them we can understand what the vows are we have to keep. So when we receive empowerment, we receive Vajrayana vow or 20 vow, right? And then only we receive empowerment can we receive 20 vow purely or clearly or not. So this is very much related to you. So when we receive empowerment, when we taking empowerment, we really have to listen carefully when Guru gives us empowerment. Lord Jigten Sungkung said, whenever you understand the meaning of empowerment, then you will receive empowerment. It does not mean, for example, right now I introduced briefly about the empowerment. At that time you will receive empowerment. I don't mean this. But when Guru gave us instructions, and Guru says, now you meditate like this, now you visualize like this, now you repeat these words, and you go step by step what Guru instruct to you, and then you visualize, meditate, repeat, and then after you receive purely the empowerment. When you receive the purely empowerment, then you will receive tantric vows. So like that, and then if I may make any mistakes through these teachings, I deeply confess in front of Guru and in front of Yadam deities and in front of Vajra sibilants. And then please recite 100 syllable mantra one time and then dedication prayer.
Om Benzo Sato Samaya Manu Palaya Benzo Sato Genopa Tishto Trido Me Bawa Sito Kayo Me Bawa Supo Kayo Me Bawa Anurakto Me Bawa Sawa Siddhi Me Trayatsa Sawa Karma Sutsam Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruham Ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Benzo Mame Munza, Benzo Bawa Maha Samaya Sato Aha. By this merit may I attain omniscience. Having defeated the enemies, my wrongdoings, may I liberate all beings who are tossed in the ocean of samsara by the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. Whatever virtues sentient beings possess, whatever good they have done, will do, and are doing now, whatever goodness there may be, may it permeate all beings everywhere. By the virtue accumulated throughout the 3 times by others and myself, may all beings filling the reaches of space enter the gateway of the unexcelled path, and may they attain the Vajra holder's ground. By all the virtue actually performed and mentally created by myself and all sentient beings of the 3 times, may all beings of the 6 realms attain the 5 kayas and realize the primordial wisdom of the Buddhas in the Dharmadhatu mandala of the awakened mind. Glorious root Guru, precious one who sits upon a lotus at my heart, hold me with kindness and grant me all the accomplishments of enlightened body, speech, and mind. I pray for the excellent health of the Guru. I pray that he lives a supremely long life. I pray that his activities spread far and wide. Grant blessings that I may not be separate from my Guru. May the Buddha's teachings, the only source of benefit and happiness, endure long, and may the victory banner of longevity be steadfast for those who uphold the teachings. May the sound of the great Dharma drum liberate all sentient beings from suffering. Please remain and teach the Dharma for infinite millions of kalpas. By the might of this powerful merit, may the aspirations of the benefactors and their circles be accomplished within this very life. May their obstacles be pacified, may everything be auspicious, and may their wishes be fulfilled according to the Dharma. Just as the hero Manjushri realized things as they are, and as did Samantabhadra too, I will follow in their path and perfectly dedicate all these virtues. As all such dedications have been praised as supreme,
by the victorious ones of the 3 times, I fully dedicate all my roots of virtue to excellent conduct. By the blessing of the Buddhas who attained the 3 kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging, changeless nature, by the unchanging nature of reality, and by the blessing of the undivided Sangha community.
We had a mic problem, sorry. May my prayers be fulfilled according to this dedication. By the virtues accumulated in the 3
times by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the intrinsic root of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious awakening. Great Vajradhara, Tilopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Dharma Lord Kampopa, Pagmodrupa, and Lord Drikungpa, may the auspiciousness of all the Kagyu Lamas prevail. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind, root and lineage gurus,
divine assembly of Yidams, assemblies of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, heroes and heroines, Yogini and her assembly of Dakinis, all of you dwelling in the 10 directions, please heed me. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of attachment, hatred, ignorance, pride, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May thoughts of fame, reputation, respect, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhichitta. And may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. At the moment of death, may I not experience the suffering of being abruptly severed from this life. May I not suffer a terrible death. May I not die confused by wrong views. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind itself and in the crystal clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo. For this realm encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. Tenzin Gyatso, Lord Chenrezig, may you remain steadfast until the end of samsara. Embodiment of the 3 jewels, great being who upholds and increases the teachings of the Shakya lion. Supreme are your activities of guiding others with your perfect deeds. May you, the precious Guru who accomplishes everything spontaneously, live long. Holder of the teachings of Lord Drikung, great Lord of the 3 jewels, through the power of your peerless compassion and the holy Dharma's peace and light, you bring relief to beings. May your life be long. The one known in the noble land as Aryadeva, emanated into the Gar clan of eastern Tibet as Chodingpa, the heart son of Jigten Gompo. May the life of glorious Garten remain steadfast for 100 eons.
Page 28.
Yep.
May the teachings of the great Drikung Ratnashri, Master of Interdependence, Omniscient Lord of Dharma, who has seen all knowable things, be upheld until the end of cyclic existence through study, practice, hearing, contemplation, and meditation. Your 1,000 arms are the 1,000 wheel-turning kings. Your 1,000 eyes are the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon. Your love is boundless like space. I supplicate to the Bodhisattva Chenrezig.
Om
Thank you, Khenpo. Thank you so much. Thanks all the translator And thanks all the friends join our this teaching. And this afternoon, Rinpoche will give the empowerment. So please join us. We will see you all this afternoon. Khenpo, your teaching is so great.
Thank you very
Wonderful.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful Dharma practice time, all you all.